Welcome to Q&A with FlexJobs. Today you ask, how part-time are part-time jobs? The U.S. Department of Labor doesn't actually define what a part-time job is versus a full-time job. They leave that determination up to each individual employer. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, which is underneath the Department of Labor, has their own metric for determining what a part-time job is. They say that working more than one but fewer than 35 hours per week is considered a part-time job. This has no legal ramification, it just means that for the purposes of tracking employment statistics, they view anyone as working fewer than 35 hours per week as being a part-time worker. But that's a metric that a lot of employers go by just because it's widely used. At FlexJobs, we say that jobs where the hours are less than a traditional 40-hour work week are considered part-time. And this is just for our ability to list jobs as part-time jobs. So anything that you see on the site that says it's a part-time job will traditionally have less than 40 hours per week. Many part-time jobs imply that they're half-time, meaning 20 hours per week, but that is not always the case. Ultimately, each employer determines what hours are part-time hours at their place of employment. Here's our list of employment positions for part-time jobs. And as you can see, we have the job title, the part-time job, and other information if it's a telecommuting job will be listed here, and a description of that job. If you're signed in as a member of FlexJobs, you'll also see the employer and other information. But just to give you an idea of what you're looking for, this job requires 24 hours per week, and it tells you it's a night job. So this job posting actually does tell you what a part-time job is, versus something like this campaign director position that doesn't tell you what part-time means to them. So it can be a little confusing as a job seeker when you're trying to figure out what a part-time job actually means. So how can you find out if the job posting doesn't tell you what is part-time? The first thing you can do is go to the employer's human resources website or their careers website and then check under the benefits or the flexible schedule sections to see if they say anything about what a part-time or a full-time job is. For example, New Balance, if you go to their careers site and then you go to the benefits section and you scroll down, you'll see this flexible work time schedule area, and it talks about a 37.5-hour work week. Now that we can imply is the number of hours that a full-time hourly employee would work, 37.5 hours. So it could be more than that if you're a full-time employee, or it could be a little bit less, but generally for New Balance, their cutoff is 37.5 hours for part-time versus full-time. So that's one way that you can tell by going to the employer site. Or the other way is that if the employer site doesn't have any information like that, when you're scheduling the interview, you can simply ask. You can also ask these questions during the interview, but if you want to have a little bit of a heads up, you could ask when you're scheduling the interview. And the way that you would phrase the question would be, what would the work schedule be like for this position? Or how many hours do you see this position requiring? Or any combination of that sort of language, just to get a sense of how many hours part-time would actually be. You can learn more about part-time jobs at www.flexjobs.com.